This episode of Around the Oval is brought to you by Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage.
Hey, Ohio State fans, Alex Gleitman here, back with another edition of Around the Oval brought to you by Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. It's been another busy week of Ohio State recruiting. The Buckeyes hosted their first big official visit weekend last week, June 10th through 12th. They have another one upcoming this coming weekend, June 17th through 19th. They've had a few camps in between. We'll have their 7-on-7 team camp on Thursday, and a guy who was at Tuesday's camp and also is going to be very well versed on some of the guys coming in this coming weekend for their official visits is Bill Green. We brought on Bill to kind of preview last weekend's official visits, and I thought he and I pretty much coming out of the visit, I don't know how you felt, Bill, but I felt like we pretty much nailed the six guys and everything to know, but I felt like we did a pretty good job, and I'm excited to break down this coming weekend's visits too.
Yeah, I think we're talking this week about more guys that are going to be in the hopper, guys that when you bring up a name and throw it to me, there's going to be some guys that I automatically say in, on this one instead of maybe, possibly, or even I got no clue. This week, I think both of us probably have a pretty good handle on this week. And I think it's going to be a weekend that's going to be fruitful for both the Ohio State team and the Ohio State fans.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. And, I think they got at least 4 commits on official visits this weekend. Running back Mark Fletcher, wide receiver Bryson Rogers, offensive lineman Austin Sierveld, and cornerback Dijon Johnson. We're not going to talk about them because I think we both feel all 4 of those guys. Well, we'll see what happens with the U and Mark Fletcher maybe, but I think all 4 of those guys are pretty solid right for now. And we'll revisit if anything changes. But let's talk about the uncommitted guys. First 2 guys up, pair of 5-star receivers. It might be pretty quick and easy, as you said, on these 2 guys.
Yeah.
Brandon Innis, who just dropped the top 6, and Noah Rogers from North Carolina, who's really looking at Ohio State or staying home with NC State or maybe even UNC. What do you think about those 2 guys, Bill?
Well, I've had Brandon in to Ohio State for months now and have not had any reason to come off of that. So Brandon Innis in for me. I think it's done. I think it's been done. I know he drops top 6s and he did visit Alabama, and you never want to see that. But I think Ohio State's going to get through that. And I think it's Brian Hartline. So if somebody is going to, bump heads with Nick Saban and come out on the good side, I think it would be Brian. So I'm sticking with Brandon Innis to Ohio State. No hesitation there. No reason to waver off that. And then, if we move into Noah Rogers, I think Noah Rogers a little bit trickier, but I'm going to go with I think Hartline just, Ohio State does those official visits so well. If you just get them on campus when you want them, man, they do those. They know how to do them. Mark Pantoni and that crew do an amazing job. Ryan Day is such a great presence, in that office. And then you've got Brian Hartline as the lead recruiter. So I'm going to go in for both receivers. And then I think, Carnell Tate follows along soon after and party over at wide receiver, wrap it up, take all those high-rated kids and just do what we do, with Hartline, he makes it easy for us, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm going in with Innis and in with Noah Rogers.
Yeah, I'm with you on both those guys. I think Innis, you had that before anyone. Everyone was saying USC because Lincoln Riley, he was committed to him at Oklahoma. And you were the first to say Ohio State. And I said, I know Bill knows those SFE guys better than anyone. I'm going to ride with what he's saying. And then, talking to just some people around Ohio State, their confidence grew more and more and more. And so I'm with you on Brandon Innis. And then Noah Rogers, I've had him in since the visit for the spring game. I just think, they blew him away on that. And I think to your point, they're going to do this official visit great. They're going to make him feel right at home. He was actually at the spring game with Bryson Rogers and Dijon Johnson that weekend when those 2 guys decided to commit. So those 2 guys, or those 3 guys, I guess, developed a little bit of a friendship. So you talk about getting those 3 on campus together again, plus Brandon Innis, who might, he may not publicly announce it. He might silently tell everyone where he's going this weekend while he's on that visit. and you start to build that comfort level. And Noah Rogers, the whole thing is he going to stay home in Raleigh and go to North Carolina State, or is he going to be willing to kind of leave the nest? And I think just continuing to make him more comfortable with Ohio State, I think it will kind of seal the deal this weekend. And I won't be shocked to see an announcement probably by the end of the month is my guess. But I think we agree on both those guys. The next guy I know you don't have a ton on, I can probably speak to a little bit. Tosin Babalade from DeMatha in Maryland, a program that Ohio State has had success at with Chase Young. Obviously, they're recruiting Jason Moore there as well, the defensive lineman, who will be coming up the following weekend, I believe, for an official visit. What I got on this kid, I mean, I don't know if Ohio State's ready to take him or not. I know that he's a high upside kid. He's a little bit raw, but he's got a very high ceiling. He's really come on. My current intel has both Carolina schools, North Carolina and South Carolina, kind of in those lead positions right now. A lot of people I speak to think that he'll probably end up there. But I think if Ohio State sizes him up this weekend, and Bill, you could probably speak to this about like when they bring in a kid who it's almost like a two-way interview, right? It's like, let me see this kid in person. Let me get to know him. What's the culture fit? Does he fit in with the rest of the guys? Does he fit in with what we're looking for? Get him on the chalkboard, let him draw up some plays, things like that. And Ohio State is getting a close look at him almost as much as he's getting a close look at them. So I think we'll know more coming out of this visit. How much does Ohio State want Tosin Babalade, and how much does he like them? If I had to guess today, I would say he probably ends up in North Carolina or South Carolina. He's also taking an official visit to Rutgers. But I you never know. Sometimes you get the kid on campus, you fall in love with the kid, and vice versa. So that's what I'll say there as far as where I see this recruitment currently standing.
Yeah, the thing I think it boils down to is, they're going to push for Brandon Innis. They're going to push for that commitment. They're going to push for Noah Rogers' commitment. Are they going to push for this kid's commitment? Could he call them right now and actually commit? I mean, I agree with you. I watched the film. I mean, I think they're in on, 3, 4, 5 tackles that I would like better than this kid. So this might be a kid that maybe you keep warm and maybe make a move on him in the fall, or, as you get closer to signing day. I mean, is this a guy that you're willing to take in mid-June? And to me, that answer would be no, unless I felt I was getting, skunked on all those other tackles that they're, definitely in on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I mean, my guess is that he would not be a taker right now, but my guesses have been wrong before. So we'll see what happens here. I really have no intel on this other than what I've watched on film, and he sure seems like kind of a raw project type. You got 3 kids committed already, 3 Ohioans. None of them surefire tackles. So, man, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to sit back and see how this one progresses.
Yeah, I agree. And, you got another kid coming in, defensive lineman, who I actually gave Ohio State very little chance with, but he was here for the spring game and he's coming back for an official visit. So you can't ignore that. But,
no,
the chatter right now is Clemson for Stefan Green. He's out of Georgia, which, proximity, Clemson makes a ton of sense. But again, came up for the unofficial on his own dime, now back for the official. What are you hearing on this kid?
Yeah, this is another one. I mean, if Greene wants to commit this weekend, would they take him? I mean, they're in on 1 million D linemen. I don't know how well they're doing with, this has been a weird cycle for D linemen, I think, for Larry Johnson. They're in on a lot of highly rated dudes. And now this guy, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say here. Are they going to push for him? If they do push for him, can they get him out of the South? I've heard the same thing as you, that Clemson feels really good about this kid. So I don't know. Like I say, if I was doing my, the older yes, no, maybe things, this would be he would be probably for me. And then you just see how bad does Ohio State want him. Are they willing to go on this kid right now? I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Is he a guy they would absolutely take his commitment today?
It's probably one that I didn't do enough recon on, to be honest. I mean, people are talking about, he's got an Alabama offer, right? Like
Right,
that
right.
committable. He's got a Georgia offer. He's from Georgia. He's got a Florida. Like he's got every big offer you'd want to see, but are
What's
they all
committable?
committable?
Yeah, what's
I
committable?
I haven't seen the kid live. I probably haven't watched enough film,
Now I have watched the film. I've not seen him live, and I see a kid that might be rated a little higher than I would rate him. Who am I? I'm just one guy. And I think if he listed all those offers, I'd sure like to know who can he call and commit tonight to. And they say, heck yes, man, you're the dude I want. I don't know. And so I'm not denigrating the kid. There's a lot not to know with Greene here. So, but like you say, he came before and he's coming back again, so, maybe if this is a guy that OSU pushes for, I mean, it sure seems like he likes Ohio State a lot.
Yeah, and I think, at whatever he is, 265 pounds already, he's probably a tackle. So
Yes.
that makes you think differently a little bit too, is, if the kid maybe previously playing end, but slides inside a little bit more athletic. Yeah, I don't know. Larry Johnson,
Yeah.
You got to just trust Larry Johnson. And if he decides to go on the kid, you gotta assume he's probably good enough to play at Ohio State. But I agree with you. I'm curious to see what happens this weekend. I truly have no clue. Probably need to dig into that one a little bit more to find out, because as you said, if they push for a commitment, I mean, maybe there's a possibility one of us might have to write a commitment story by the end of the weekend. Who knows? So
absolutely,
we probably should figure that one out. Let's move to the last position group, defensive backs. We talked about Dijon Johnson coming in, but there's 2 corners and 2 safeties that are going to be on campus. First one's interesting for me. The Texas Tech commit, Calvin Simpson Hunt, a 4-star. I mean, he's been talking to Ohio State for quite some time, and I'll be the first to admit I don't have a ton on him, but they're bringing him in on an official. Again, like this on the surface to me, from what I know, this could be like, I don't know if they take him today with, some of the guys that are still on the board and things like that, but they're bringing him in for an official. So what do you think, Bill?
Yeah, what I've been told is this kid's coming hoping that they want him. So we're going to see. I've been told that he is an absolute flip possibility, and it's probably going to be more, how does OSU feel about him? I think with Dijon Johnson already in the fold, I think you can be a little selective, to get that second quarter that you need. I watched that film, and again, I'm just one guy's opinion, and nothing special about me. I love that kid's film. Okay, he's long, he's athletic. Then you look up the track times. The track times are really good. He's a sub 1100 guy. When I watch him, I'm like, I'm hoping they take him. You know what I mean? Now, are they taking 5 safeties? Looks like they might. Then do you have room for 3 corners? You're going to take 8 DBs in this class. So we got to watch for that, because the next guy we talk about is in Jermaine Matthews. So what do you do with Simpson Hunt?
Yeah,
you take both of them this weekend. I mean, I love Simpson Hunt. I mean, and again, just one guy, nothing special about me. I love that kid. I love everything I see about him. So, but they're not offering the in-state Jermaine Matthews and then bringing him in for an official visit only to hold him off. So he's in for 1,000% in. And then the Simpson Hunt kid, if I had my choice of one or the other, I would take Simpson Hunt over Matthews. Now, I don't know how they feel about that, but I'm, pretty impressed with Simpson Hunt.
Yeah. And to your point, I think it's okay. Like we don't need to really talk about Jermaine Matthews, because I think we both have him in the class. And as you just said, they wouldn't have offered him to get embarrassed to have him go to Cincinnati, right? Like just a few weeks later. So I think that was the plan before, but yeah, he's going to go to Ohio State. I'm pretty sure they'll seal that up this weekend. My question to what you brought up is, how many corners are you signing? Are you going to sign 4? Because Kay and Lee's out there. Kay and Lee from Georgia's out there, and that kid is higher on their board for sure. And so are you going to bring that kid in? Is Lee a no matter what guy, and you just take 4 corners?
Wow.
If Simpson Hunt though, and remember, you lost Ryan Watts, you lost Legend Cavazos,
Sure.
Denzel Burke could be 3 and done. You got Cam Brown, who's probably going to the league after this year. Jordan Hancock and J.K. Johnson can both step into the starting role next year and leave after their third year. So you might have a depth problem at cornerback. Maybe they do want to take 4. That's probably something we need to look at. But, this is the only official visit he's taken. He's committed to Texas Tech. I know that Notre Dame's been poking around there. USC recently offered. So other schools might try to get him on campus, but is this a kid where you could bring him in and decide after June what you want to do? I don't know, but we'll see. I agree. The track times are surely 10.67 in the 100, and I sub 22 in the 200. Right. I mean,
there's a lot to like. To like with Simpson Hunt, and I can see
6 foot 180, something like that.
Yeah, and I can see Notre Dame, USC. It makes sense to me. I mean, to me, he's better than what his ranking is. Where when I look at Greene as a D lineman, I think he's probably ranked higher than where I would have. But Simpson Hunt to me is really, really interesting. And then you brought up K and Lee, and I think they're going to get K and Lee. So you taking 9 DBs then? I mean, it's crazy to see. It's going to be fun to watch the DB class, the D-line class, and the O-line class. It's going to be fascinating to watch just how they delegate their numbers.
Yeah, I agree. And then, speaking of, like, they're bringing in 2 safeties this weekend. Jaden Bonsu from St. Peter's Prep in New Jersey, where they got Cody Simon out of, and then Jonel Aguero from up in Massachusetts. He was at IMG. He's back in Massachusetts. They're both coming in for visits, and I think Aguero's probably a take no matter when, what type of kid. Yeah, we haven't been so sure about Jaden Bonsu, but you recently had some info that might lead us to figure out the pecking order there.
Yeah, just the way they've kind of handled Jaden Bonsu, the little urgency bringing him in this week, and then Damian Fagan wants to come in this week, and it's not happening this week. So, and it may not happen until fall, and that makes me think it may not happen at all. So clearly Bonsu's ahead of Fagan, but is Bonsu an absolute taker? I think he is.
I would say I know he is.
I mean, you start to add up all these DBs, you're getting a ton of them here. And then Aguero, I don't think they're getting him. No. But, I mean, they blow him away on the official visit, and he throws his hand up. I mean, man alive. I mean, because I think they're going to get Downs. I think they're getting K and Lee. You start taking all these guys, and you end up, you're not taking 10 DBs. You're just not doing that. So I think Bonsu's in. I think Matthews is in. I think Simpson Hunt is very interesting to me. That probably wants in, and then Aguero's a guy. I don't think they're going to get him. I really don't. But, they've blown kids away on official visits before. So, and I don't think Aguero's ready to make his decision now anyway. So we'll see here. But I mean, I think, conceivably they could walk out of here with Bonsu, Matthews, Innis, Rogers, and Simpson Hunt if they want them, And I don't know when the commitment dates are for these guys. A lot of these guys, I think their hand goes up immediately. Matthews, Bonsu, Innis will be soon. Rogers, I don't know about his timeline, but I think I never get too caught up in when. I'm kind of more of a yes or no kind of guy. And I think there's a lot of yeses in this group.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, Bonsu and Jonel are 2 East Coast guys out here. I mean, I think Jaden, my whole question is, are they going to have room? Will they take him? I'm fairly certain it's a yes. And I think he'll end up picking Ohio State. Jonel, I think the visit they had, it was a couple months back. It really was a game changer for Ohio State and moving them back up the list. His mom loves Perry Eliano, loves him, but I got him going to Georgia. I just think Georgia's had a lead. Yeah, I think it's going to be too much to overcome. And I just think push comes to shove, he's going to end up at Georgia. Great place to go play defensive back. Can't blame him for that. But as you said, you never know. Maybe you just blow them away and they come away saying, I gotta come to this place. So we'll see. I mean, Ryan Day's a New England guy and he's from Massachusetts, and you never know. But yeah, Bill, I'm excited. This is going to be a great weekend. We're going to have full coverage on BuckeyeScoop.com. Maybe I'll bring it back next weekend, last official visit weekend of June. It's going to be an even bigger one if that's even possible.
Yes.
Yes. And who knows, maybe we get a couple surprises this week. Maybe a Carnell Tate shows up. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, definitely. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Bill, as always, for joining, and stay tuned to BuckeyeScoop.com for more info coming out of the official visit weekend.
This episode of Around the Oval was brought to you by Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. If you've been thinking about refinancing or buying a house, check out our sponsor, Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. They offer low rates for refinancing and home purchase loans, including first-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance, and cash-out home equity loans. Check out revolutionmortgage.com/tpennington.